Saratoga, Travis coming up. What's the vibe like around Saratoga
Well, it's
right now?
always a buzz when Travis coming up. Everybody look forward to that day. That's when the big crowd comes out.
What's the coolest thing about horse racing?
Because the excitement. The excitement of winning, competition,
Yeah,
coming down the lane.
yeah.
That's it.
And for you, right? Who was a big mentor for you early on?
There's a trainer in Finger Lakes by him, actually Mike Ferrara Senior. My dad was a trainer back in Jamaica. He was a good influence starting out. You know, I learned most of my beginning stuff from him to take care of horse, do their legs and all that stuff. But as far as preparing and training, well, I think I learned most from Mike Ferrara Senior.
Yeah,
And I gotta give props to my man Ralphie D.
yeah,
Ralphie D. Alexandro. He was the one that got me started.
yeah.
So that's basically.
And when you say he got you started, what does that mean?
Well, the first horse I bought it off him. He gave me on a cuff, deal where we make down payments on the horse.
Yeah.
And I worked for him for a while, and I usually, he helped me out in every way to get me going. So
And right? How important is these grooms?
it's a teamwork. It's always a teamwork. Without them, I couldn't do it. With the grooms, at walkers, the riders, it's all teamwork, and they're the backbones of the industry. Really, they're the ones that take care of horses. If you have no one, I couldn't take care of all these horses by myself and do everything. So they're the one that does that and maintain their legs, maintain everything about the horses. So it's very important to have good grooms, and you just need help. That's it.
And let me ask you, right? A guy like Tomaine, right?
Yeah,
Harold Hardy, right?
yeah.
He's a very legendary.
He just learned that. Yeah, he left definitely legendary. He won. I think might have won every stake there is
Yeah,
in North America. So he's one of the few that's been around that. Worked with Woody from back in the days and took care of all his good horses, basically.
Yeah.
I used to sit around with him and just pick his brain all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Before, when I was a groom, I used to pick his brain about horses and stuff just to get some knowledge from him. Tell you the truth.
Yeah. What kind of horseman he was, man, when he was young, man?
When I was a groom back in Jersey, in Garden State, he was there, and I used to just pick his brain. Yeah, my dad are good friends because they came out of the same community in Jamaica, so
Yeah.
they both came to the track at the same time.
Yeah.
So my dad always talk about him. So when I met him in Jersey, I just kind of picked his brain, not try to get some knowledge from him. Just everything I could. I try to always looking for knowledge, so I'm always trying to figure out, get better, whatever you're doing.
And out of the old time jockeys, right? Who's the best rider you think? Best guy you seen ride a horse?
I think Angel was, to me, in my Angel Cordero
Yeah.
was best I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
And what made him good, man, like that?
He just was a race rider. He did what he had to do to win. He was just a fierce
Yeah.
competitor.
He get you to the money, huh?
He gets you the money. That's where he doesn't give up inch. He maintain the rail. He won't let you through. He ride the other riders' horses also. He's just a good competitor.
And right? Who goes down as the best trainer in your lifetime?
It's hard to say. You got the legendary Alan Jerkins were good. You got, and Chad Brown's a good trainer. He's a young trainer, but he's a good trainer. Tad Pletcher has been good. So it's hard to say one individual. There's a lot of guys that are good trainers. So you can't just pick up one person and say this was the best guy. I love Pete Farola. He was a big influence on me coming up and seeing him. When I just came to the United States, I remember Pete Farola was also winning races left, right, and center. And I was like, man, I was caught up into him just winning races. So I kind of watch his pattern of training and try to, because I paid to pay attention to people's pattern of training, how many days out they breeze and how long their breeze are. So there's a lot of good trainers, so you can't really pinpoint and say one guy was better than the other because everybody do a different style pretty much, and they get get a job done. That's the important part of it. Just getting the job done.
When I ask a question like that, it's really all in fun because
Yeah,
all
no,
these
no,
guys is
yeah, all these,
really
yeah, good
is
trainers. I mean,
special.
there's a lot of trainers that are not in the top 10, top 20 that are just as good. You know, maybe they didn't get opportunity to have the big horse. You know, but there's a lot of good trainers on the backside. You find them in everywhere on the backside.
Let me ask you, right? Who's the horseman, the trainer, the jockey in Jamaica? That people that know, but the world don't know. Who's that? Who's that person? That I want to give some light to a guy that's
In Jamaica,
that was
I
a
think
great horseman.
it was a jockey, and as far as before my time,
Yeah,
the trainer during my time was Kenneth Mattis.
yeah.
I think he was a great jockey from what my dad told me, and he was a just as good trainer
Yeah.
that I came up to see.
Yeah.
That's Kenneth Mattis.
Kenneth Mathis.
Yeah.
And he's still around?
No, he actually died a few years ago.
Okay.
But his son is still around. His son is actually in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was a good horseman, very good horseman.